Hey YouTube, Andrew here. So, as you can see, I'm about to profile an updated version of my Vermillion deck. As many of you know, the 50 card rule has taken in effect, and I wanted to show my deck profile for my 50 card standard Vermillion deck. Only difference is really is that I'm running 4 new copies of Kolgaflan. But I'm making a profile of the deck for the sake of making an updated version of my old Vermillion deck. So let's get to the profile, shall we? Starting off, we have the Ride Line, Spark Kid, Red River, Thunderstorm, Vermillion. Since I've already explained what their effects do in my previous deck, I will get to explaining their effects once I get to them. So, aside from Sanctitude, this is the one order card you run in the deck. 4 copies of Eternal Thunderbolt. This card can be activated from your drop zone, and when it's activated, your and when your Vermillion Vanguard swings after using this card, you get to choose 3 of your opponent's units. And if any of those attacked units end up being rear guards, they get bound after the attack, and if they hadn't been guarded from. And then if Vermillion was to hit any units, then all the rear guards in your front row get plus 5,000 power till the end of the turn. Nice card in my opinion. And definitely one of the best cards in the deck. Now for the triggers. For heal. For this deck, I'm only running the vanilla heals because Vermillion, as many of you know, is a rush-based Vanguard deck. And I feel that it's a bit risky taking my chances using non-vanilla heals for such a straightforward deck. Next up, 8 crit. You'll want to finish off your opponent as much as possible, and crits are one of your best friends for that. 3 draws. You could run 4, but you could run 7 crit 4 draws if you want. But for my build, I prefer to go with the 8 crit 3 draw sort of rhythm for this deck. And finally, Drag Veta from IoT. Now for the grade 1s, 4 perfect guards. Self-explanatory as to why it's lined up this way. For a Rising Phoenix, when you've bound an opponent's rear guard, you get to resurrect Rising Phoenix from your drop zone. And then its other effect is you can retire this guy, choose one of your units, and it gets plus 5,000 power till the end of the turn. Finally, for grade 1s, 3 Red River Dragoon. When an opponent's rear guard is bound, you get to counterblast 1, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and bind it. If you did not get to bind from activating this skill, you get to soul charge 2. Now for grade 2s, starting off we have 3 Thunderstorm Dragoon. Oh, and I forgot to mention that Red River's skill searches for Eternal Thunderbolt when Thunderstorm rides on top of it. So thanks to Thunderstorm's rearguard skill, when he's placed on rearguard, you get to soul charge 1 and he gets plus 5,000 power till the end of the turn. Next up, 4 copies of Death Scythe. When Death Scythe attacks an opponent's rearguard, you get to Soul Blast 1, choose one of their rearguards and bind it. And if you did not get to bind from this guy's effect, you get to draw a card. And its other effect says if your opponent has no rearguards in their front row circle, Death Scythe gets plus 5,000 power. 2 copies of Dragonic Kaiser. So by binding it, your opponent chooses 2 of their bound units and puts them on the bottom of their deck in any order. And then your Vanguard gets plus 5,000 power till the end of the turn. Then 2 copies of Drag Ritter Latifla. When she's placed normally on your rearguard without an effect, you get to Soul Blast. And if you played an order this turn, you get to Soul Blast 1. Let's see. I need to double read this card for a sec. Sorry. When you played a normal order this turn, Soul Blast 1, look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Choose up to 1 card with grade less than or equal to your Vanguard from among them and reveal it. You call it the rearguard if it's a unit card. And you put it into your hand if the revealed card is a normal order. And then when Latifah attacks a grade 3 or greater unit, she gets plus 5,000 power for each of your opponent's open rearguards in the same column as her. Finally, for grade 2s, 4 Kolgaflab. Many of you, I'm sure, know what Kolgaflan does, but for those that don't, his skill is when he's placed on rearguard. If you Persona Road this turn, you Soul Blast 1, choose 2 of your opponent's rearguards in the same column and retire them. And when it's discarded for writing during your ride phase, you Soul Blast 1, put Kolgaflan on the bottom of the deck, and then draw a card. And for grade 3s, 3 copies of the best card of the key card of the deck, Dragonic Kaiser Vermillion. So his act ability is once per turn, Counterblast 1, choose 3 of your Narukami units, and they get plus 5,000 power till the end of the turn. And after that, when Vermillion attacks, it attacks 3 of your opponent's units. And of course, with Eternal Thunderbolt, if you're attacking rearguards, they get bound instead of retired. And his act skill is once per turn after this guy attacks, you get to Counterblast 1, discard a card from your hand. And if your opponent's at 4 or less damage, you get to deal 1 damage to them. So that is it for my deck profile. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Once again, please like and subscribe for more content. I definitely appreciate y'all's support on the channel. And have a good night, y'all. Peace.